Happy Friday, everybody. Friday the 13th. I'm sure you've never heard that before today. Because all the superstitious people, of course, it's the ones who get bothered by it the most. And so funny, like nobody thinks about it until somebody says it. And you're like, God damn it, why'd you say it? But we'll get started here. A little bit of a late minute live stream. Not going to go through my rigmarole and do everything of the posting. I just kind of laugh whenever people are like, oh, why didn't you tell me on like 8 different, social media platforms that you're going live? Why didn't you actually send me a direct message or something like that? It's like, you could hit the button to go live, or like whenever I go live or whenever I post new content, right? You could hit the notification bell. I don't have to message you on your text message and email you and do every form of communication to let you know that I go live. So the easiest way for you to know that I'm going live is not for me to go on social media, not for me to go on direct message, not to go on text message or email. You just click this little button on YouTube and it tells you right to push notification to your phone. So that's the best way to do it. And we're not, like I said, it's a Friday. We're going to hang out. We're going to have some fun. We're not going to go through the regular rigmarole, the nonsense on like, I love being a YouTuber. I love being on here and conversing with everybody, but nothing more than I hate than the clickbait, normal YouTube stuff, right? I can't stand any of that. I'm not here to make a living on YouTube, right? I'm here to help people. I'm here to help myself. Here to help people document my life as I go through life. And it's essentially a big documentary for me. It's essentially a journal of my life, right? I'm not here to make money off people. That's not what I'm here for. There's lots of people who do that. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. But if you look at Rod Murray and you look at Power Group, Pursuit of Wealth, and the whole overall like ethos, it's not to make money off of viewership. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to document my life, to help people along the way, help myself, help my family, document it along the way, and then in 10, 20 years from now, I'll be able to look back and say, you know what, shit, that was a journal. That, like, I hate journals. I hate writing in a journal, and then you got to store the journal, and I'd much rather do it on YouTube. So for me, it's just an absolute pleasure. And there's so many trolls out there, and I don't even know where I'm going with half of this, but like it's a Friday. We got to let loose, and there's people that are just out to get you, like in this world. And as sad as it is, people don't like when other people are successful, and they don't like when other people are positive. Frankly, that's one thing I've noticed lately is people don't like when other people are positive. And I'm totally a glass half full. I'm like a glass 3/4 full kind of guy. And you don't like it? Screw off. Like, it's as simple as that. So we'll jump right into it. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day, and we'll jump into a little bit of what's going on with Tilray brands, because I know it's not easy. It's probably going to get worse before it gets better. Like we've always been accustomed in this space, like we're never going to get anything the way we want it to. And one thing that I've noticed about this like industry is people want everything to happen on their own timeline, on their own, not even just timeline. Everybody wants it to happen on their own terms. Everybody thinks that this market should do whatever they think it should do. And that's just not the reality of things. And it's not just the MJ sector. It's every sector on the planet. When everybody and their dog thinks that things are going to explode, it's probably not ready to explode. In fact, it's probably ready to implode. And, it's never been more clear to me that people who invest in cannabis stocks are green. They do not have any investment experience. And I'm not saying this, again, to be condescending. I'm not saying it to be antagonistic. I'm not saying it to be, I'm not coming from a place of maliciousness. Like, I'm coming from a place of realism. And it's not a bad thing. It's like conspiracy, right? The word conspiracy implies some sort of negative connotation to it. The word conspiracy just means two or more people conspiring in secret to achieve a certain goal. That is not positive or negative. It's just the way the media and the way that the public perceives it, it's negative, right? And if you even say conspiracy, the word, you're a negative. You're an absolute net negative to society, right? And that's just not the case. It's called realism. And in this world of wokeness, in this world of uncertainty, and just if you look at what AI is doing to the world these days, nobody knows what's real anymore. You can't watch a video, you can't watch a thumbnail, you can't watch anything, and without the little voice in your head saying, "Is this real?" And I think we're in uncharted territory in the world right now. Like, this is just not something that we're used to as a species, and obviously there's going to be some good and bad in that, but I don't know. Just over the last week or two, after I seen the files come out, with the island guy, nothing happened, right? Everything happened. The files came out. Everything just hit the light of day, but nothing happens. And it's making me lose faith in humanity. It really is. I just hope that we're better than this. I really do. And you have to wonder, like, the whole coincidence of AI and, is all of this fake, right? Because that's the number one thing you see in this day and age and in today's world is, is that post on X real? Oh, is it fake? Is that video on YouTube real, or is it fake? Right? And it's very coincidental that it's all happening around the same time that these files are being released. And I don't know. Like I said, I started this video today. I just want to come on and have some fun and have some conversations with it. Obviously, I can't get into everything that I want to say because I've been silenced on here before. I've had YouTube videos removed for a lot less. So I'm not going to get into my full. If you want to get into everything, like, my whole thoughts and opinions, we'll do that in my own business. We'll do that in the chat room that I run, not that the overlords run on YouTube. So we're not going to get into that here. If you want to get into the intricacies of that, you can do so in the private group. But I'm not going to do that here on a public forum, and I'm not going to do that here on YouTube because I know that YouTube has a history and track record of silencing people for freedom of speech. So that'll be all that I will say there. Obviously, I'm not going to go through, this spiel. Go follow us on X, whatever, right? So while everybody else is chasing views, clicks, and subscribers and everything else, I'm just here to help people. I genuinely want to help people. And I think people are starting to understand that now. People are starting to decipher clickbaiters from actual genuine people who want to help people. Like, the best people, if you look at history, the best people who are net positive on the world are people who are already rich, right? Because they want to give back to the world. They want to help their fellow human beings. It's the people who are the fake it till you make it kind of mentality that you want to stay away from. Those people are toxic. Not to say that you shouldn't fake it till you make it, because that's just a stopgap. That's just a means to an end, right? But what that literally means is to deceive people until you reach the goal that you want. But when you actually have the goal that you want in life, you will want to propel that forward. It's called paying it forward, and you will want your fellow human being to do well as well. And that's where I'm at in my life. I don't need another dollar. I don't need another friendship. I don't need another follower, another click, another view, right? What I want to achieve in this life, I want to form long-lasting relationships with people who, maybe not on a personal basis, but in a couple of weeks, couple of years, couple of months, whatever it is, decades, they come back to me and say, you know what, because you gave me the cold hard truth, not because you were trying to tell me what I needed, what I wanted to hear, you told me what I needed to hear. And that gave me the slap in the face that I needed, the wake-up call to be the best version of me. That's the person I want to be. I don't need any more friends. And you probably don't need any more friends either. Or maybe you do, but I'm not that guy. I'm going to tell you right now. If you want me to be your friend, you're probably not going to like me. If you're looking for a mentor, a coach, a trainer, you're probably going to love me. Because in 5 years from now, I guarantee you, you will be a better person than you are today. And that is my goal, to make you a better person from today, 5 to 10 years from now. Not because of my own self-interests, but because I care about my fellow human beings, right? That is so profound, because that is not what you see on YouTube, right? How many times I just posted this in my private community? I saw this on YouTube 5 minutes ago. I get tagged in this shit all the time. Almost 220 million in Phoenix diamond hands paying off. Tagging group pal, like I could pump this bullshit. I could sit here and feed you full of Phoenix coin and like lead you off a cliff like a lemming. But I'm not going to, because I know that there's so many scams out there, right? And like it makes me mad that people are. I just had a scam last week. It was Corral had a person reach out saying, "We want to sponsor your channel," and I went through everything. I said, "It seems kind of legit." Little bit of red flags here and there, and then throughout the process, they're like, "Okay, we just need you to sign into your Google account from our trusted website." I'm like, I hate every single one of you pigs. Hope you burn in hell for life. And then, of course, never heard another thing response back from them, right? And I know the question in this video is going to be, why no more Tilray interviews? I don't reward bad behavior, okay? I don't care if you're a $1 net worth, $1 million net worth, 1 billion, 1 trillion. If Elon Musk came to me today and did what some of these CEOs do in cannabis, I would not even speak to him. I wouldn't even give him the time of day. When you do me wrong and my fellow investor, my retail investor, which is me, you're hurting my brothers and sisters. No, you don't just get a free pass. I'm not the SEC giving Ethereum a free pass here, okay? It's not what I'm about. I'm about orderly and fair markets. I'm about you reap what you sow. You be an asshole, you get treated like an asshole, okay? As far as I'm concerned, Tilray needs a new CEO to buy Bitcoin at the all-time high, which I said was a dumb idea from the get-go. Okay, so since Tilray bought Bitcoin, how much is it down now? Tilray bought Bitcoin, and it's now down 53%. Seems even dumber by the day, doesn't it? And then, okay, it's only $1 million worth of Bitcoin that they bought, okay. But why the hell wouldn't you want to buy it when it was 5,000? I've been making videos since it was 3,000, 5,000, 7,000, 10,000. Nobody wants it then. No. And like, what do you do when you're an MJ company? If you're going to take payments, like, it's so dumb. Like, you can't make this stuff up. And then to announce dilution the day after the earnings, what was it? Like, can I even remember the stupidity that was all strung together here? Let me test and I'm still getting over the sickness here. Let me test my brain capacity here. So this was the earnings report that we had. Remember? Wasn't so long ago. October 9th, 2025. Fantastic report. We had a 560% plus rally. Excuse me, I got to cough my throat out here. Wow. This cold is not to be reckoned with. Anyways, you go 566% rally. The day after, guess what this day was? Dilution. Oh, we're just going to announce dilution. Idiots. Man, that made me mad. And then, we're going to buy Bitcoin at the all-time high. And it just corrected 51%. Golf clap. Let's go. Awesome. You guys are doing great. All right, let's see how this impeccable management is going to attack the next obstacle. And then they announce a reverse split the day before Thanksgiving. But if you're the biggest company in the world, if you're the biggest MJ company in the world, you can do wrong as much as you want. They think, until you can't, until it's irreparable harm, and you can't go back on it. And that's where I think we are. I think, look at Organigram. They got like how many CEOs in a very short period of time because? Just because? Everybody loved all their CEOs, and they've got multiple. Well, I'm pretty sure our CEO, everybody hates him. Right? Like, I would say less than 10% of shareholders want our CEO to be the CEO of Tilray. I would say less than 10%. So if all these other companies are getting CEOs when everybody loves them, why the hell are we sticking with the same one when everybody hates him? And Aaron, if you're listening, you're probably due for retirement soon. So, you know what? Like, enough with the death threats, enough with this shitty execution. Just retire. Let somebody else take the death threats, or like do a less than shitty job, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of laughable at this point, and I don't even want to do videos anymore. That's how bad it's gotten. Like, where are they lately? They're nowhere. Nobody's like. I sent them a message. I sent them an email saying, "Hey, got some ideas for product innovation. Some of your product kind of suck. Like, I'm a consumer. I know things. I can give you valuable insights." Nope, they didn't want to hear anything. Didn't want to hear any constructive criticism. And I don't know, how many people have I interviewed lately? Let's go over to if you haven't been to my channel, just go over here, go to playlists, click on interviews, and you know what? I'm gonna single this person out, and I don't normally do this, but if you want to be a CEO of a company, this is the guy you should model yourself after. This guy right here, Erwin Simon. You should model yourself to be after this guy. He's probably 20 years younger as well. I gave him super hard questions, and he came back with a very... You know what my favorite part of this interview was? At the very end, he said, "When are you going to make this video live?" And I said, "You give me the go-ahead." And he says, "I got shit to do. I have a company to run. I don't have time to dissect. I know what I can and I cannot say." And I was like, oh my God, a CEO who knows what he can and cannot say on camera? Wow. So profound. You mean you don't have to tell me to like go and jump through 17 hoops and backflips and somersaults and then I can post it? No, he just said what was off the cuff on the top of his mind and said, "You know what? Run with it. Because I'm a good CEO. I don't have to jump through 1,800 hoops to know what I can and cannot say." If you're a CEO of a company and you don't know what you can or can't say, don't be the CEO. That's the solution. And I'm like this close to not like. I love the crypto industry so much. Not because it's my number one passion. Cannabis is my number one passion. But you know what I hate? People who are incompetent. People who don't know what they can or cannot say. Companies who are bending the knee to just anybody and everything. How about like standing up for yourself and their shareholders, and like, you know, not only that, like most CEOs of cannabis companies never even consume cannabis. They don't know what the hell they're doing. You know, like they absolutely know nothing. This guy, you can tell he's into crypto. He knows crypto. He should be the CEO of a crypto company. He knows what he's doing. And then, you know, MJ is just a completely different beast, because I love my MJ people. Don't get me wrong. I love the MJ consumer. I love how chill everybody is. I love how passionate everybody is. But let's call a spade here. When people get involved in the MJ industry, they don't understand anything about financial markets. And that's one thing I love about the crypto industry is people are so financially like sound. They know how finance works. They know how corrupt the government is. They know how corrupt and rigged markets are. And they don't blame anybody but themselves. Either they were too early or they were just downright wrong. Whereas when you get into the cannabis industry, people always blame everybody else. And even the CEOs are doing it. Even the CEOs are, we thought the U.S. would have legalized by now. No. How about you build a business that's not dependent on the U.S. legalizing, you dunst, right? So I have people ask me all the time, how come you're interviewing all these other companies and not Tilray? I'm not going to interview them anymore. They don't deserve it. Will I still buy Tilray stock? Maybe. What was the news? I don't even care about their news. I don't even care. I really don't. Until I start seeing change from the top down. And how many months did I go without them even responding to me for an interview? And then, you get so big and they can't ignore you. Well, listen here, cannabis CEOs. I don't care if you're the tiny little operator out of buttfuck nowhere with 5 employees. I will be the biggest voice in this MJ industry today and 5 years, 10 years, 20, as long as I'm alive. You will be contending with me because I am not here on somebody else's merit. I'm here on my own merit. I'm here on my own passion. Right? I'm not here for money either, so you'll never get rid of me. But the people who actually want to build something of value, people who actually, if you don't want, and I'm done reaching out to people. I've reached out to companies multiple times. No. I have people reaching out to me now. I've got 10,000, 20,000 subscribers. I have over 10,000 on YouTube. And I'm not doing clickbait. I could easily have 200,000 right now if I was a complete, sellout like most people are and doing all the clickbait and everything else. But I'm not going to do that. That's not why I'm here. That's not why you subscribed in the first place. And that's why a lot of people don't unsubscribe from this channel, is because I've stayed true to myself. And I've stayed true to my fellow retail investor. That's what this channel is about. And I got not that much time. I have a daughter right now who's listening to Miss Rachel in the next room next to me. That's the only reason why she's not bugging me right now. But if she wants to come bug me, that's fine. I'll cut this short, right? Because I care more about my daughter than any of you, I'm sorry to say. But I do. And I'm sure none of you would hate me for that. But at the end of the day, I have other people who are reaching out to me for interviews, who want a platform to spread. And this guy, I don't care if you're a cannabis CEO, a grocery chain CEO, a crypto CEO. This is the kind of guy you want to be. He didn't say, I have another meeting to come to. He was early. He was early to the meeting. He was there backstage before I was even there. He was early. He loved the conversation. He wasn't rushing me out of the door. In fact, he was talking more than I was. That tells you that he's passionate. He cares about me and investors and himself and his business and his industry. You can see it, folks. When CEOs are rushing you off and they're late to they don't give a shit. And I'm so over it. This is by no means was interviews ever a focal point of this channel. It was always technical analysis. It was always realism and just combining fundamental and technical analysis into one, and then also just thinking like a corrupt market maker, right? Because we got to put ourselves, they control the game, so we got to think like them, right? Even though we're not pieces of crap like they are, we still have to think like they are. But I'm not going to do it anymore. I've reached out to Canopy Growth I don't know how many times, and I've already spoke to their team twice, and there's oh yeah, they even buttered me up, said, hey, yeah, we'll do an interview, and you know what, Canopy Growth could come back to me tomorrow, and I'd say, fuck you, I'm not interested. You beat me around the bush, right? You know what, okay, here's an example. Wendy's IR. I spoke to Wendy's IR person, and he didn't even want to do an interview. But you know what he did? He scheduled a call with me to tell me that he didn't want to do an interview. Like, he actually took the time to be with me face to face on a Zoom call and said, hey, we're not interested in doing company interviews right now. Straight up. Like a fucking decent person. And I said, you know what? I respect that. If you would have just disowned me, I would have went on here and told everybody that you're a complete asshole and that Wendy's is junk. Because you are. But if you come out and tell me, hey, we're not doing interviews right now, we're heads down, we're executing, we're not interested, but maybe in the future. Thank you. Transparency. And that's what I loved about this guy. Transparency. But guess what you don't get with Tilray in the cannabis industry? Most of them, 99% of them are junk. Like, I'm not saying that there's not opportunity. I'm just saying half of them don't know what they can or can't say. Half of them never consumed a product in their life. Half of them don't know their ass cracked from their gooch. Like, it's almost laughable. And like I love cannabis. Don't get me wrong. That was the whole backbone of this channel. But after seeing how companies conduct themselves, CEOs conduct themselves, retail investors conduct themselves, I don't know if I can be a big proponent anymore publicly. I will be a big proponent privately. But when it comes to helping retail investors, when it comes to helping companies thrive, I might just pivot my attention over to the crypto industry because they actually care about their company. They actually care about their industry, their investors. So, yeah, I get people all the time. Why aren't you doing more Tilray videos? I'm fed up. This company doesn't give a shit about me or you. They really don't. And I would say like 99%. Like ACB, terrible. Terrible. Avocana. Had an interview with them. A whole interview was on a new Philip Morris. Oh, can't talk about that. Well, why did we just do an interview on it? You wasted my goddamn time. AYR, I told you run for the hills, and then it went through fucking receivership. Oh, and so many people are like, oh, how we didn't see that coming. Well, I've been saying it for 2 years. CGC, they couldn't hate the retail investor any more than anyone. CL, another garbage company. Which company here is good? Curaleaf just had the biggest funding round in the history of the industry. But they won't respond to an interview. They don't care about retail investors either. They only want to be paid for interviews. Apparently, maybe, I don't know. CVSI. Charlotte's Web reached out to them. They don't want an interview, even though I've been covering their stock. I've been saying for a while now that it's going to like $1.71, and that would be our target here. We had multiple targets. And like, okay, so now let's think about this for a second. Let's think of the companies who did reach out to me and did agree to interviews and did agree to acknowledging their retail investor fan base. Look at Canara. They just did a 1 for 10. Does it sound familiar to a Tilray? Tilray just did a 1 for 10 first in history. Canara did a 1 for 10 first in history. And look, not only was that the first bottom, we saw another one. We saw another lower low after the reverse split. But guess what? Last month, Canara hit a new all-time high. And guess what? Never have I ever. Canara, there'll be multiple interviews. Let's go here. Go to my YouTube playlist. Interviews channel. High Tide reached out to them multiple times. If anybody needs more exposure to the world market, it's High Tide. Why are you declining free publicity? Because you're an idiot, I would say. GTBIF, none of them have responded. What else? Love, like I said, they've been interviewed on my channel multiple times, and here we are, just hit a new all-time high last month. What MJ stock do you know hitting new all-time highs? Oh, well, I know of another one. That's Oxley hit new all-time highs, and they've just been doing POW reviews and interviews non-stop. Let's see how their stock's been doing. Oh my God, a 52-week high. Imagine that. Now let's go to all the stocks that don't want interviews. Maybe they're working with the short sellers. Maybe they're just retail investor they hate retail investors. That must be the case. Because all the other ones who will meet with retail investors nonstop will even question, their stocks are hitting all-time highs. So are they working with the short sellers? Remember when Free had that big short seller report? Maybe the CEOs were working with them. I don't know. Not saying they were, not saying they weren't. I'm not here to get anybody, not here to say a defamation of anything. I'm just saying I don't know. But isn't it conspicuous? When they had some hotel or something? 2018, I remember the day. MJ producer Freya drops 30% after short seller calls acquisitions worthless. Were they working with them? I don't know. You tell me. I'm not sure. But the question remains. And like how a company, when you reach out to them and say I have some ideas about product innovations, they just ghost you? After you've already interviewed them twice? Oh, God. I've lost faith in a little bit in humanity. Not going to lie. Yeah. Again, you didn't subscribe to this channel for, like, oh my God, I had a deep breath. Let me go edit that out. No, like, I don't care about any of that. I'm not here for the hundred thousands of... I'm not Mr. Beast here, okay? I don't need more money. He needed money when he first started YouTube to make it in the world. I've already made it. I don't need your money. Don't even super chat me because I don't want your money. What I want is for us to start holding companies accountable, CEOs accountable, sectors accountable, governments accountable. As far as I'm concerned, the U.S. government is the devil. Like, every one of them need to be removed. I'm sure there's some good people, but majority bad, and the only way to fix it is to start over. But you know what the worst thing is the people who actually run the world weren't elected in the first place. So we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. My goal in life is to help as many people in this investing journey as possible before I can't take it anymore. I'm almost there. Like, I didn't even need to be in this investing journey in the first place. The only reason why I'm here is because I'm passionate about MJ and I'm passionate about technology, and I know that the crypto industry is going to change the world as we know it. And it's the biggest transfer of wealth that we've ever seen in our history of our species. And I'm not going to sit there and miss that. But the more I've learned about financial markets, the more I've learned about how the world works, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And I want nothing more than to myself and my family and my family's families for generations to come to just sail into the sunset and not care about how corrupt the world is, because we've made arrangements to circumvent their corruption and to just stay out of the zone of the what do you call it, no man's land, essentially, right? And I don't know, if you're like me, no man's land is getting bigger and bigger by the, in World War II, World Wars, no man's land used to be like maybe a few yards. Now it's spanning like countries, folks. It's bad. It's really, really bad, the state of affairs that we've gotten to. And I don't know what to believe anymore. And nobody does. Because of AI, nobody knows if these companies are working with short sellers. Nobody knows if these companies are short themselves. It's dire straits, man. And I don't care how many people ask me. I don't care if Tilray reaches out to me tomorrow and says, please interview me. Please, we will do anything. When your actions speak louder than words, when you stop giving the retail investors the shaft, maybe I'll consider it. And maybe you get a new CEO and we'll talk. But no, I'm not going to reward bad behavior. And to all the CEOs who want free publicity, who want tens of thousands of audience, as a potential, partnership, then by all means, reach out to me. But I'm not going to sit here and just hide behind the corporate bullshit that is half the problem in the first place. And I'll just tell you right now, if there's any stupid comments, I'll just ban you and I'm not even going to read it. So, back at you. Hello, Ryan. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. What's your ideal price entry for Tilray? Yeah, I mean, it just boggles my mind why you would do a reverse split when you didn't need to, and price was already struggling. And anyways, goes to show you that they have no idea what they're doing. Yeah, we got a bear flag saying 622, so go from our high to the low there. So the target is about 620. So we hit 697. We came within about 10%, a little over. So, when it comes to these targets, sometimes you can undershoot, sometimes you can overshoot. Is this a case where we undershoot, or is this the case where we overshoot by 10%? We don't know. But the longer we don't get the DOJ, so essentially if we go into next week, which, Monday's a holiday, if we don't get it on Monday, then it's probably going to be a later in the week, if not maybe next week, right? But essentially, as the longer we go without the DOJ ruling, the more chances of this happening are. And I was even discussing this in the Power Group private community today with some of the Power Group private community members. You have to think. Most people think it's already been rescheduled. So if we were to get an article tomorrow, let's say, or even like now, that the DOJ is moving forward with rescheduling, most people they call it dumb money for a reason, right? Because they just read a headline. And they're like, wait a minute, I thought back in December, Trump signed an executive order rescheduling. Oh, well, that was just a piece of paper to tell all the agencies to get their ass in gear. So you're telling me that they did a press release and a big performance, political theater, and they didn't do anything? Yeah, essentially, they didn't do anything. So then you're just essentially pissing people off, right? So actually, the fact that the DOJ might come out with a ruling and say rescheduling is on, guess what comes after that? A 30 to 60 day challenge period where there could be lawsuits. Guess what's probably going to happen the day of the DOJ ruling? A lawsuit to prevent it. So it's almost a net negative because of their tomfoolery and stupid way of approaching things. But this, imagine, right? Imagine MJ, right? Let's just paint a picture here. Back in 2021, when the Dems took control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency, everybody thought, right back here, everybody thought this is the time. This is when we're going to legalize. They got the House, the Senate, and the presidency. This was the run-up just on hopes of legalization. Just a casual 3,000% gain, 30x. And it was all a facade. It was all smoke and mirrors, nothing to it. That was just on hopes, okay? So if people are that easily manipulated, anyways, I'm going off on all kinds of tangents here. I could go off forever. I'm not going to keep going, but the point is when everybody thinks, why not just legalize it here? Why not? Hey, we got the House, we got the House, the Senate, and the presidency. You think they couldn't have gotten away with it? For sure they could have. For sure they could have. But look, they had that massive move. The market makers bought at the bottom and sold at the top because they make the bottom and the top. And then, all the market makers are telling the U.S. government and the central banks, no, don't just do things yes or no. We need to create confusion along the way. So instead of just legalizing in the U.S., here's what we'll do. We'll get Canada to legalize, then we'll sell it off. Then we'll get Germany to legalize, then we'll do hopes that the U.S. legalizing, then we'll sell it off. Then we'll be like, oh, we'll do the rescheduling carrot. We'll dangle that. And then we'll be like, oh, no, the first administration failed, and then it's going through like some sort of administrative hearing. No, all that's going to zero. We got a new administration. It's all going to zero. Everything's reversed. Oh, then they come out saying that one side of the aisle wants to legalize it recreationally at the federal level on one side of the presidential ticket. The other one's saying federal rescheduling and safer banking and Amendment 3 in Florida. And then all of a sudden they get new administration in and radio silence on policy. But yet all they could talk about during the presidency campaign was policy on drugs. RFK Jr., how often was he talking about drugs in the campaign trail? Every second word. And then the new administration comes in and it was crypto, blockchain, and AI, and everybody else shut the fuck up, right? What are you doing? We can make way more money, you idiots, if we just ebb and flow. We dangle a little carrot about rescheduling. Oh, no rescheduling. Then we give the rescheduling, and then there's this comment period. And then we sell it off after that, and then we do a descheduling commission, and then the descheduling commission gets delayed, and then we sell that top, and then we buy the bottom again, and then it's 2 years until descheduling, and then we buy that bottom, and then we sell the top, and then we buy the bottom again. Like, that is what it's designed to do. Why would they just legalize it without anything? That would be many tops and bottoms they could have bought and maximized the market value, right? Why do you think Goldman Sachs is worth trillions of dollars? It's because they manipulate the market. Why do you think JP Morgan find billions? Precious metals. JP Morgan to pay $920 million for manipulating precious metals, Treasury market says. And the Treasury market, says U.S. agency. I don't know if CFTC. So if JP Morgan, which is basically the creator of the Federal Reserve, if they're getting fined $1 billion or more for manipulating gold and silver prices, what do you think they're manipulating, folks? Everything. They're manipulating everything. Mankey, what's up? So, ideal price for Tilray, I mean, we're forming a nice monthly higher low right now. You know, we have our low, we have our high. We're trying to confirm a monthly uptrend. We're still in a monthly downtrend. If we can break resistance there at $23.20, which is more like $2.32, then monthly uptrend confirmed. But I really can't see us dropping below the all-time low there at $3.51. So, again, I don't know why it's so hard for people to understand this. Like, this is all you need to know. This is all you need to know. So, Mirza, anybody else on planet Earth, if you're listening to my voice, if you see a name down 80, 90% plus from an all-time high, that's probably a good idea, and you want to add for the long term, and you're wondering when's a good idea. I would say 80 to 90% is probably a decent time to start scaling in. You don't have to, let's say you got $10,000 to invest. You don't have to put the whole $10,000 in. You can do $3,000 here, $3,000 there, $3,000 there. Right? So if Tilray from all-time high to current levels is down 99.7% like most MJ, who cares if you buy it at 7, 6, 5, 4, 13? Like, for example, all-time high down to $20. You're still down 99.3. Who cares about 99.6 or 7 versus 99.3? Folks, cannabis industry, it's time to wake up and smell the reality, not just the terpenes. Okay? We have to put down the bong. We have to put down the dab rig. We have to put down the joint. We have to put down the beverage or the edible that's making us dumb. And we have to do some research. We have to do some due diligence. We have to do some, we have to gain knowledge here. And that's, why I love crypto, is because people come into crypto and they're like, oh, I understand financial markets, like TradFi, traditional finance, but they don't know how bad the market is manipulated. But it doesn't take them very long to figure it out. People in cannabis come in and are like, what? You took all my money? What? Now I got to ask questions. In crypto, it doesn't take losing your whole account or losing 100% of your money for people to start asking questions. People lose like a few dollars in crypto and they're like, oh, wait a minute, is this rigged? People in cannabis are like, whoa, I just got my shirt and my pants stolen. I have no clothes, no money. What is going on? And you're like, no. It was rigged from the get-go, and you're just figuring it out now that you lost your shirt and your pants. Why didn't you question it when you lost your shirt or your shoes or your socks? So, again, if you're asking me when it's a good time to buy, you're missing the point. It's always been a good time to buy any time, really, since, geez. From all-time highs, if you're down 80%, that's generally a good time to add. So even when we were at $60, it was not a bad buy, right? But then you're like, okay, maybe it's going to go to net, and you have to think, right? What other sectors do they manipulate? Well, we just showed you how JP Morgan manipulates gold and silver. What did silver do the other day? Because it's manipulated by JP Morgan. Guess what it did in one day, folks? An asset that I made a video saying was going to pull back 20-30%, and I meant like in months, if not weeks, and it happened in a day. And I got so much hate saying, you're a fucking idiot. This is never going to drop. Like, it's going to 200, 300, it's not going to pull back 20. You're a fucking idiot. One day, it pulled back, 2 days pulled back 42%. And then in 6 days, it pulled back 47%. You will always get wrecked. You will always get humbled by the market because that's what the market is designed to do. So, with that being said, if silver can pull back 42% in a week, and it's not selling illegal products, it's not selling a commodity that we don't know is a commodity or security, it's been a long-standing commodity forever, and it pulled back 41% in a week. So what does that tell you about Tilray or MJ? It tells you that if long-standing, hundreds of years, we're talking millenniums, if these assets can pull back 40% in a matter of days, what about industries that are unregulated, that are illegal? There's still countries that give the death penalty for simple possession of cannabis. So what does that tell you? That tells you that 80% correction could turn into a 90 or even higher. Because it's illegal and there's no regulations. And the reason why I spend so much time on this is because people are like, oh, I hate the industry. And it's only cannabis. You never see this with crypto because they're like, I know every market's corrupt. But people come into cannabis and think, it's my first time investing, my first time in financial markets. I hate this. I'll never invest in this. I'm going to just anything but cannabis. And you're like, oh my God, you think that this is the only manipulated sector? You're just going to go get wrecked again and again and again and again and again. But with that being said, of course it's the most manipulated sector. There's no regulation in the U.S., which is the most important industry, or the most important country and jurisdiction, and it's on the same list as heroin. So, and most countries still offering the death penalty. Right? You go to Singapore, Seth Rogen said, if you spark up a joint there, they'll effing kill you. Right? And then people are like, why aren't my bags being worth millions? Well, that's why. That is why. Amazon, Apple almost went bankrupt in 1997 selling legitimate, legal computer products. Apple. Tesla almost went bankrupt. So, I would say we're on the right track here. Would you not agree? Seems like all the major sectors and all the major companies who go off to change the world and put a dent in the universe almost go bankrupt. And if they don't go bankrupt, they get sued by the SEC or they get sued by the U.S. government as a vetting process. Ripple comes to mind. So I hope, Mirza, and it's not that I don't want you to ask a question. I just hope you never ask that question again. Because you should always know the answer. If cannabis is still illegal, there's no regulation in the most important market in the U.S., if markets are all manipulated, and this is illegal, then it's going to be the most manipulated. Therefore, we should expect at least a 90% pullback from the all-time highs in the boom and bust cycles. And here we are at 99%. How could you get any better of an entry at 99%? Andrew says, been buying Aphria and Tilray since the IPO. Yeah, well, Aphria was doing really great before they merged with Tilray. And in fact, in 2021, before the merger happened, I think Aphria was the only one who hit a new all-time high. But again, all the market makers and elites are behind Tilray, right? So when they come into Aphria, they're like, "Oh, we can't have this retail stuff going on. We need to remove all of them." It's inevitable. It's a when, not if. Keeping my bags packed and packing more. I agree. That's the way to go. Nobody knows. But again, I had this conversation today with a PAL group member, and you know who you are. If you, let's say you invested 3 years, 5 years, 10 years ago, and you were looking at this space, and you found it investable then. I hear people say all the time, and it makes me so fucking mad. They say today, MJ isn't investable. And I hear people that run businesses in this industry and who say that, and you're like, are you the dumbest person on earth, or were you just dropped on your head as a kid and don't know any different? But to say that the industry is not investable now, when companies are starting to turn a profit, prices are at all-time lows, more and more countries are legalizing. We've got the U.S. with a framework now towards potential legalization at the federal level and descheduling commission forming by summer. If you were investing 3 or 5 or 7 years ago, that was the uninvestable time. Because most companies their cash burn was crazy. There was no path to profitability. Now you got Tilray turning net income positive. Tilray being a leader in every aspect. Tilray with more cash on hand than their lowest point of their market cap was a few months ago. When your cash, no net debt. But yet people say it's not investable today, but it was investable 5 years ago when they bought the top. Do you see how ass backwards that is? Do you see how most 99% of the people who are in this industry, who are in the financial markets, have zero clue what they're talking about? If anybody tells you that this sector is not investable today, you should delete them and find them as quickly as possible. You should go on a plane ride if they're not readily available to smack, and you should go on a plane ride and smack them silly. Because it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Some companies are starting to finally turn a profit, and you're telling me that it's uninvestable. Okay. What the hell are you talking about? And why were you investing 5 years ago when the outlook was abysmal? The real reason is prices were going up, people felt good, therefore we'll buy and we hope it goes up more. Right? When prices are going down, people feel like idiots. They don't want to advocate for a certain company because the price is low and they look dumb, right? Why do you think all the YouTubers only come out when prices are going up? Because they don't want to have that, he's covering a sector that's low, what an idiot, and then they lose their viewership, right? But again, if you're only after views, clicks, and money, well, then of course that's what you're going to get. But if you're here for the greater good and something bigger, then things change. I've recently shifted to thinking MSOS is going to have more upside since these companies are more directly affected by your scheduling. Why am I right or wrong in your opinion, Ryan? I mean, not necessarily true. The second the executive order was signed, Tilray came out with a press release saying we're forming Tilray Medical USA. So, again, there's all kinds of different scenarios. The U.S. has the biggest capital markets in the world. They have the biggest economy in the world. They have the biggest competition in the world. So the U.S. is going to have a lot of competition from U.S. operators. Then you're going to have Canadian operators coming in. And if you don't think that that's going to happen, open your fucking eyes. Because it's already happening. Tilray, the second there was an executive order signed in the U.S., they formed Tilray Medical USA. What do you think that means? They're going to expand in Canada? No. USA was in the name. And then you got people like Organogram saying that their collective project just released in the U.S. You got a Canopy, which is now an MSO. They own Acreage, Jetty, and Wana. So you're competing with all the LPs. You're competing with all the people in the U.S. And you're competing with the international markets as well. So, and the illicit market. Like, the list goes on and on and on. And, like, here's the thing. Companies like big Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 200, Fortune 100 companies, they don't want to back Green Thumb. They don't want to back TLRY, who has no operational skills under a legal framework. They want to back companies who have like a decade worth of legal framework under their belt. And guess what? Canada's going to be the blueprint. Guess what? Canada did it, and then Germany followed. And guess what? Germany did pretty much the same thing that Canada did. What do you think the U.S. is going to do? Probably the same thing that Germany and Canada did. So all these corporations who are existing now under a legal framework are going to be miles ahead. Not only that, it's going to be harder and harder for these companies in the U.S. when they finally get the permission to grow tax, like not burdened by tax, not burdened by erroneous laws and licenses for interstate commerce and all this stuff. So yes, it might give a monopoly to the ones in the U.S., but I don't think so. I think they're behind no matter how you slice it. And a lot of these companies that are investing in Canadian names are U.S. domiciled companies, like Constellation Brands, Altria, Philip Morris, right? These are all companies that have big, well, global reaches, but big reaches in the U.S. So, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, the U.S. dragging their feet, they're never first, but they're never last. They're right in that, like, kind of chasm. They're right in that monumentous, like, the precipice of urgency. You're not first, you're not last, but you're getting pretty damn close to last, and you're definitely not first. So the time is now, and just like the time was now in crypto in the last elections, then look at how hostile they were. Everybody hated the U.S. government. Everybody hated the U.S. market for crypto. And then a new administration came in, and all of a sudden we're the golden age, we're the crypto capital of the world, now they're leading in like a year. So in a year from now, the U.S. could very well be at the forefront of the cannabis industry. But that's only if they decide to do it. When they're damn well ready. Not when the 99.99% of the U.S. citizens could say, we want this. And the new administration would be like, screw you. You work for us. Even though you pay our salaries, we don't work for you. No. All right, that's how it goes. Patrick says, hey Rod, hope everything is well. Yeah, everything's great, Patrick. Thank you very much. Same, get back at you. Been watching you for some time. Keep it up. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it. Diligently distracted. Bought more Tilray today right before close. Didn't feel a ton of conviction, but just figured toss more in the hole. Pay off eventually. Yeah, well, again, we had this conversation today. You got to think, like, are you an investor or are you a trader? And an investor doesn't buy things because somebody said it's a good investment. An investor doesn't buy something because of prices going up. An investor does not buy something because it's popular. An investor buys something because it's attractive to where the industry is going versus where it is. And in fact, most investors want the herd and retail investors to be very pessimistic and fear, because as Warren Buffett says, buy when there's blood in the streets, buy when others are fearful, and sell when others are greedy. It sounds pretty damn simple, but the market is not that simple. It's designed to make you angry. It's designed to make you hate the companies you're invested in, not just the companies, but the sector, and not just the sector, but the whole finance world, the stock market, the government's behind the stock market. Therefore, I hate the government. You know what? I hate everything, right? You question your very existence. So, you know, it's as long as most people are hating themselves, you're probably buying at the right time. Hey, baby. My daughter just entered the room. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Master. Yeah. Time to buy the dip or wait till Schedule 3. Again, we get Schedule 3. There's going to be lawsuits, and then there's going to be a month or two, and then there's going to be a descheduling commission, and then there's going to be full-blown legalization. So, folks, I got my daughter here now, so say hi. Say hi. Hello. So it's going to be multiple years, right? Unless you're a trader. If you're here to make a couple of 100% gain, yeah, or 1,000. I'm not even here to make 1,000%. Like, I'm here for generational wealth. Like, I'm here for Oxley going from like a penny to $3 again. Imagine you bought $1,000 worth of Oxley at a penny. And it goes back to $3 again. Imagine. That's $1,000 investment into $300,000. So for every $1,000 you put in at a penny. So $3,000 investment, you're worth $1 million. Sweet. The most you can lose is $3,000. And then you got these suckers that are buying like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of MJ stocks at all-time highs. At like 52-week highs. Why? I just told you can invest at $3,000 and make $1 million, and the most you can lose is $3,000. Why are you investing hundreds of thousands at all-time highs? And again, I've been in this market for 20 years, folks. I've been studying markets for 20 years. I've been studying technical analysis for 10 years. And I've seen how heinous everything is. And believe me, if you exit this market and you're fed up with this and you're going to the next one, it's going to happen to the next one again. And if you don't learn... What's that? You need to go pee? Okay, I'll wrap it up then. Okay, you got to go, folks. We'll go quickly here. Okay, so the time frame, there's a symmetrical triangle, continuation triangle targeting below $1. Were you looking at my chart there on Tilray? Is that what you're looking at? So that already hit. You're looking at that? So yeah, that already hit pretty much to perfection. So, let's go here. So we were saying like 282, so like 28 cents. We had 35 cents. Okay, we'll go then. Am I getting sensors? No one is responding. Oh, stupid YouTube. Just realized it was on top chat, not live chat. So I switched it over to live chat. Daddy? Yeah? Okay. Okay, hang on, guys. She wants to watch the show. I think that's what's going on. One sec. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, so she's been like doing potty training and learning about the potty, and there was a Miss Rachel show that she was watching in the. I like started it like toward the end, so it only played for like 30 minutes versus like a full hour or whatever. But anyway, she's back. She's happy now. So yeah, everything looks to be good now again. Am I getting sensors? No one's responding. I think I got you. Volume seems off. Lots of reverberation. Well, yeah, I mean, again, like, volume's not going to be big right now. Yeah, like, it's absolutely tiny. It's not just Tilray. It's MSOS. Like, look at that volume. You had CGC had the record mostly volume ever in the history of the company back in December. Like, not even a close second. Look at that. It's like double the previous all-time high record. So, you know, generally when you see that kind of volume, that's indicative of a volume climax near a bottom. Doesn't mean the bottom's in fully. You could even see another lower low, but like we're closer. I mean, looking at this chart, I mean, what do you think? Is the bottom close or not? It's probably pretty damn close. And like, again, if you don't know anything about technical analysis, if you look at RSI, well, when you're in this range, it's technically a good area to add and hold for the long term. If you're in this range, it's technically a good idea to sell and not hold for the long term or short for the long term, right? And again, like, this industry is all about shorts, but that is because it's manipulated, and naked shorts are manipulation and corruption and options. That's why I can't stand options trading unless you're selling options, collecting premium for nothing. But if you're buying call options or put options, like, why are you doing that? You're in the most riskiest sector in the planet. Like, okay, if you're trading Walmart and you're like bored by Walmart's 2% move every month, or like in a year Walmart's lucky to go up 20%, okay, use some call options, buy some leverage, do something, because it's boring. But why do you need to use leverage and incur even more risk in the two most riskiest asset classes in the planet sector, like crypto and cannabis? It's already volatile enough. Why do you need to incur more risk? Right? So, I mean, just look at this chart, and I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that, again, if you liked Tilray in 2017, if you liked it in 2018, if you liked it in 2021, what the hell is wrong with now? We're even lower. Way better deal, right? Imagine Black Friday on Amazon. You're getting 76% off. And then they say, oh, you know what? Here's 99% off your favorite item. Well, are you going to say no, or are you just going to buy the damn thing? You're probably going to say, I'll buy the damn thing and I'll figure it out later. Or I'll just buy it and who cares? Right? And the thing is back in 2021 even, Tilray was nowhere near to profitability. Like, look at this. On that major run-up, Tilray was negative. Oh my God. They were expecting negative $2.10 a share. Came in at negative 20, and it was like, oh, it was the best thing ever. And then 2 months ago, what the hell? Shouldn't have been there. Yeah, we came in at zero. 1.5 million net income. So you're telling me we're achieving profitability. We're not actually burning money now. We're turning into a profit. And nobody wants to own it now, but everybody wanted to own it when we were burning billions? Now we're making money and no one wants to own it. Seems pretty ridiculous, doesn't it? That's why I don't really like the cannabis industry when it comes to retail investors. Because, like, the crypto industry is just filled with so many smart people. They know the industry. They know TradFi. They know how the world works, how the financial sector works, how corrupt the world is. And then people come into the cannabis industry and it's just like, you got no chance in hell. It's like swimming with sharks and you're just like this little tiny Nemo coming in. BFF is still in the green for me. Yeah, well, again, I mean, look at that chart, right? Like, that's a great recovery. And it's all based on what I said. I said I didn't like VFF because they still have this veggie business. They get rid of veggie business and stock's almost back to all-time highs. Love Canara Biotech. And this is what I said in my community today. If you let all of this jade you, you would have missed all of this. Right? Oxley. If you would have missed all of this, you would have missed all of this. So if you let yesterday's mistakes blind you of tomorrow's opportunities, not only are you just going to miss out on the opportunity of making your money back or making generational wealth, you're going to drive yourself crazy. Because then you're going to see this and you're going to be like, oh, why didn't I just hold? Or why didn't I buy more? Or why didn't I just, do that? Why I shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? And look how simple it was. Don't buy here. Would have did great. Buy here. Would have did great. It's that simple. It really is that simple. RSI on the monthly time frame. Maybe not the monthly because not always the case, right? If you look at XRP, for example, it's never hit monthly oversold. So you want to go to the weekly. But okay. Oh, my bad. Let's go to the weekly on XRP. And let's not go to Coinbase because they're jerks and only recently added it because Epstein said don't. There we go. So you don't buy here. Holy shit. Oh, I was going to say, did we not get the weekly oversold? We definitely did. There we go. There you go. There's the inception. Don't buy here. Buy here. Seems pretty easy, doesn't it? Okay, so now let's go over to any other chart you're wondering about. Tilray, where are we? Well, we were in the depths of despair on weekly oversold. That would have been a great opportunity right here at 20, almost into the teens. And then look, it ran 500, almost 600%. But is it a great time to buy right now? I don't know. I mean, it's getting close. It's closer to buy than it is to sell, right? So it's all pretty easy stuff when you think about it at the end of the day. The hard part is waiting. The hard part is being patient and waiting for this. I don't like the oversold. I don't like the new lows. I don't like the pullbacks, but I love the appreciation. Well, guess what? The multiplier effect, the real money is made on it after the real pullbacks. And the biggest pullbacks. And again, if you're not diversified inside cannabis, if you're not diversified outside of cannabis, you're doing it wrong. You got to be diversified within and outside of the sector. And someone said to me the other day, Charlie Munger wasn't diversified, only had three holdings. You do know that Berkshire Hathaway was one of his holdings, which is like 70 to 80 companies in one? So he's probably more diversified than the average person. Even though he's only in 3 stocks, but he has like 90 companies all under one umbrella. It's like, okay, come on, guys and girls. Like, I have sold most of my Tilray stock and bought XRP. Yeah, I don't like that, because if you were saying I sold most of my XRP and bought Tilray, I could understand that. But unless you bought Tilray at the top here and then bought XRP at the bottom, which I doubt you did, and you're buying Tilray at the low or at the top and selling it at the top, or selling it at the lows to buy XRP at the top, which is probably more realistic, and now XRP's at the lows again. Okay, so I said this in my group today as well. I was buying XRP when it was here, right? When it was at 20, 30, and let's go back in Coinbase because it's Epstein motivated as well. So let's go back to the non-pedo. Okay, perfect. So we go back here and we go to, 20 cents, 11 cents. We were sued by the SEC because Epstein sent his little goons after us and got Gensler the job at MIT and at the SEC. So he goes after Ripple because they're a threat, right? Why? And like, again, folks, Tesla was sued, Amazon was sued, Facebook was sued. All the major companies who changed the world were sued. So, you know what? Sue us again. We'll love it because that means we're even more bullish. Sue us again. The more you sue us, the better we are, right? So you buy this thing at 20 cents. Okay, so here's what most people do. Here's the retail investor mindset. Most people are buying XRP when it hit $2 or $3. So you know what? It's going to 10. It's going to 20. I'm buying now. I was wrong. Now I'll admit I was wrong. I'm going to buy it at $2 or $3. Then they drop it to $1.11. And then people sell out, and they're like, you know what? I was wrong about XRP. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to buy Tilray. Kind of like what you were just saying. Or vice versa, depending on where you bought it. But what most people are going to do is they're going to sell XRP. They're going to buy XRP when it's at $2 or $3, and they're going to sell it when it gets back down to $1 or things get scary. What I was doing was buying it when it was at 20 or 30 cents, not $2 or $3. I was buying it at 20 or 30 cents, and then when it got to $2 or $3, I refused to sell because I'm not here for taco gains. I'm here for $4 as my main target. My first target, sorry, not my main target. My first one where my initial investment comes out, and then 90% of my selling is going to happen after $4. So while most people are buying at 2 or 3 and then selling at 1, I'm buying at 20 or 30 cents and refusing to sell at 2 or 3 cents and $1. Or sorry, $2 or $3 and $1. So I'm buying at 20 or 30 cents and not selling at 2 or 3, refusing, because I know that it's worth more than that, and I'm going to wait. Most people are waiting at $2 or $3 to buy and then sell at $1. That is the opposite of what you want to do. And that's why 99% of people lose money. It's that simple. And again, literally, I don't care if you're looking at call options, put options. I don't care if you're looking at calls sold, calls bought, puts sold, puts bought. It's all nonsense. This is all you need. If you're wondering when is a good time to buy, when is a good time to sell, this is all you need. You don't need an option change. You don't need anything else. You just need the RSI, and if you can find a point on the chart where, and you might not find it exactly on the monthly time frame, and you might not find it on the weekly, but zoom out to the 2-week chart, zoom out to the 3-week chart. Find it on the most oversold it's ever been, and that's probably the best chance you're ever going to get. You don't need to be a guru, right? Obviously, you can sharpen your skills and you can understand bull flags and ascending triangles, descending triangles, bullish and bearish continuation patterns. You can sharpen your skills. But if you're just trying to make more money than 99% of people as an investor, this is all you need. This is the only thing you need is RSI, Relative Strength Index. Way easier said than done, though. Most people don't like buying here because all their friends, dogs, cats, Helens, don't want to buy here. They're saying, what are you doing, you idiot? Prices are in the shitter. Why you buy it? You want to buy it when everything's at sky high, right? So again, if you don't know nothing, just talk. Like, it's not that difficult. Go to stock charts. It's like it's there by default. And then just change it from weekly to daily to weekly. That easy. Literally would take you 5 seconds worth of research. Yet the analyst showing Tilray at $200 in 2027. Yeah, so the same thing happened with Hexo back in the day in 2021. I remember them saying how Hexo was going to go to like hundreds of dollars a share, and it was at like 11. So that's their goal, right? They want to get you to never sell when you should, and they want to get you to never buy when you should. And they succeed 99% of the time. Erwin is in the Epstein files, but no fucking way. Really? Oh man, no way. I didn't see any of that. Falcon ATL, can you send me an email? Sorry. Diligently distracting. Can you send me an email? It's info@pursuitofwealthgroup.com or... Yeah, no, that's it. Or you can go to palgroup.ca or pursuitofwealthgroup.com or click the link in the description. Take you to my website. Click on contact. There'll be a contact us form. Fill that out. If you can send me what you're talking about. But that wouldn't surprise me because Israel is big in it, right? And isn't he from Israel descent? folks. I've never been more like Tilray was Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel was in the Epstein files. Peter Thiel was invested in Tilray in the early days, right? This is what I've said, folks. It's like Mark Andreessen when he was on Joe Rogan the other month or whatever, and they removed it from YouTube, and they removed my video from YouTube. Essentially, he said, we're talking to the U.S. government, we're starting an AI company. He said, don't even bother. And Mark Andreessen of Andreessen Horowitz is like, what? Excuse me? What is that? Don't bother? Like, yeah, we already have the winners. We've already picked the winners and losers, and you're a loser. Don't even bother. So if they're doing that with AI, imagine what else they're doing. Did a search and nothing came back saying that he was in the files. Let me ask another AI here. Yeah, that's the problem too, right? They let out like 3 million files, redacted files again as well. So not only are there 3 million files, it's like, okay, was that actually all of them? And then they're redacted. So, then another cool thing about AI is we can use it to kind of predict what would be saying. I don't want the algorithm to see that. Show my pretty face here, also. I don't got my... Hit the wrong button. I was supposed to go to be right back. What's going on? Why is that? Oh, there we go. No, I guess you guys can see my face for a minute. Let's see here. No, I just did a search on multiple AIs, and they said no credible evidence that Erwin Simon's in it. So, you can send me some proof otherwise, but didn't see anything. Simon is garbage. About time you seen it. Yeah, no. Again, it's everybody. Like, obviously, not everybody's perfect. Not gonna say no. That'll be the first thing I'll start off by saying is no one's perfect, not even myself. But when you buy Bitcoin at an all-time high and then it crashes 51%, when you announce dilution after a great earnings report, when you do a reverse split the day before Thanksgiving, when you didn't even have a warning, you deserve to be kicked to the curb as far as I'm concerned. And I tried to give them benefit of the doubt. I tried to give them time to make it right, but I even sent them an email after that and said, hey, I got some ideas for product innovations, how to make your products better. Some of them kind of suck. I went to Value Buds the other day, and they had Animal Runs pre-rolls on the can't get rid of list, essentially, the clearance list. And I said to the girl, I was like, why do you have Animal Runs 35% THC? Oh, I know. Is because their product won't burn because none of them know fucking cannabis. And I'm trying to tell them this, and they disregard my calls. And then you got fucking companies like Value Buds selling them for $9 when they should be selling them for $29 or $19 minimum. They're selling them for $9 because they can't sell them anyway. Can't even give the goddamn things away. It's because they don't have a clue. And then I'm trying to contact them like, hey, we did 2 interviews, and you don't want my thoughts and opinions. After they said they did. Oh, we value your thought and your opinion anytime. And then I send them a message after, like, this is your first step to redeeming and to redemption. And then you just ghost me. And that was what I was going to tell them. I was going to tell them your pre-rolls suck. They absolutely suck, especially the Animal Runs. There's too much THC in too small of a cone, and it's too compact. It's not going to burn, especially in negative weather. No, instead, they'd rather just not fucking do anything and have Value Buds sell it for $9 a pack and never buy them ever again. And it's just, I can't imagine running a company. It's so fucking stupid. This is why I think I'm just going to pivot over to crypto completely. I couldn't believe it whenever this guy said it. I couldn't believe it. I literally started clapping. I was just like, You are now my favorite person on planet. I was like, he's like, when do you think this is going to go live? I was like, I can get it live 2 minutes from now. Like 20 seconds after this, it was live. Like, as soon as it's done downloading and processing, it'll go live. And he's like, you know what? Perfect. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I'm just going to go over to the crypto industry. Because, like, imagine a crypto CEO or a CEO of a company knowing what he can or cannot say. Oh, wow. They did their homework is what they're saying. And they value their time. Like, why are you fucking sitting there for a fucking week or two? Like, I'm just a dude with 10,000 followers. Why are you reviewing a video for 2 weeks on whether you can or cannot release it as is? It's so dumb. Man, I can't stand this industry sometimes. It pisses me off beyond belief. But it's not really the industry, it's the people. I used to be a people person, and then people ruined it. All right. He is not mentioned in the MC. No, he's not. I didn't see it. You're pissed and you never get like this unless it's serious. Yeah, well, again, like, I'm not pissed for the sake of my money being lost. Like, obviously, I'm down like everybody else. But I didn't lose that much money. Like, honestly, MJ prices could fall another 99% from here, and I wouldn't even care. Because most of my net worth is in real estate and crypto, and I've got a huge cash position as well to buy any kind of crazy dip that you know is probably going to come. And like just doing these kind of interviews like this on the screen just gives me hope into humanity again, you know? And yeah, I'll end it there. That's what I'll say. But yes, I do not come on here and get serious and get pissed for no reason. I get pissed when my fellow human beings are being treated like shit, including myself. And I can't stand when companies, I'm not going to name any other companies, but other companies on YouTube that just take money to promote a company, and then they just disregard all the negative and only focus on the positive. That's not what I'm here for either. Yes, I've taken sponsorships on this channel. I've been getting paid money, but half the time, the only reason why I want to get paid money is because I know they're legit. If you take a sponsorship and they don't pay any money, that tells me there's a good chance they're a scam. But if they're willing to pay money and add it into their like advertising budget, yes. But if you're a company who's doing that and disregarding people who are willing to do it for free, that's not okay either. If you're paying for a company to advertise you, okay. But if people are reaching out to you to give you free publicity and you're saying no, and you're going with the ones who are paying, that's telling me that there's probably some ulterior motive there, and maybe even some sort of money laundering scheme going on. I can't imagine being the CEO of a company. Like, this guy reached out to me. I didn't reach out to him. He reached out to me. And this is where we're going, folks. I'm getting to a point where I didn't even know if I wanted to do interviews at all, but now I just realized I was doing interviews in the wrong sector. I was doing interviews with incompetent people. I was doing interviews with people who don't even know their ass crack from their gooch, right? So once you start dealing with competent people who actually know what they can and cannot say, life gets easier. And doing interviews with people who actually knowledge about the subject matter, very different as well. This was a great conversation about crypto. If I had a conversation with Erwin about crypto on this, I'd be like fucking talking to a guy like, it'd just be painful. And like, frankly, if I was having a conversation with Erwin about cannabis, I don't even think he'd fucking be able to hold a conversation for longer than 10 seconds. What do they call those? The bicombs? Trichomes, Erwin, trichomes. Oh yeah, the bicombs. No, we already corrected you. We said trichomes. You still keep saying bicombs. That's what I said, bicombs. You know? It's like, fuck. You're borderline fucking Alzheimer's. And like, to that effect, like, it's time to retire, kinda. Like, time to go home. Take your money and run. Let's go. Insiders aren't even buying Tilray stock, if I'm correct. They were a while ago, but it's been a while. You have to think, though, a lot of their compensation comes through stock options, right? And, like, different warrants and stuff. So, they have a vested interest. They're going to benefit if the stock goes up. But they also get a salary as well, which is in, like, US dollars. So, yeah, it's a win-win for them, but a lose-lose for us. I totally agree. It's dumb as hell with the BTC buy. Yeah. Again, you didn't want to buy Bitcoin at 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, 50,000. No, you wanted to wait till over 100 grand, and then it crashes 51%. Albeit you only bought $1 million, but still. VFF, I like VFF. It's just like they just got rid of their veggie business. That's one thing I didn't like. But now that they got rid of it, the stock's been really performing, which I've been adding ever since. I like it. I don't buy any of their products, though, to be honest. I don't like their flour. I don't like, everybody says it's so good, but like Redecan and Canara are like miles ahead. I don't really see what the big hype is, to be completely honest with you. I don't even know any of their other products other than like their Pink Kush. Other than a couple of their main flour ones. I think they got some sort of presence in Texas, potentially. But yeah, I think SNDL, VFF, great options. Thank God I chose SNDL. Well, SNDL is closer to all-time lows than anybody, so. And SNDL said that they were looking at reviewing even being listed on the NASDAQ. They might even remove their listing from the NASDAQ. So, like, even SNDL has no debt. They have a shit ton of cash. And they're trading near all-time lows. So what's, wait until you understand private equities, my man. Oh, I do. And, that's a whole other can of worms is you can't invest in private equity unless you're accredited. Go fuck yourself. Like, I can mortgage my life savings, my house. I can spend every goddamn dollar I have on a casino, but I can't buy a private equity firm because it's too risky. There's nothing more than I hate than the government, especially the U.S. government. Man, I can't stand it. Of course they short. Yeah. Nope, that ass Pam Bondi loves her man, but won't sign it. Well, again, like, I don't think it's a question of if, it's just when, and it's all the nonsense that they get after. So anyway, CWEB, CWBHF. Again, lots of names are bear flags. This one's a bull flag. Look in the weekly. This thing's a big old weekly bull flag, and I bought it like a month ago after the rescheduling news and the CBD, everything's like referencing CBD, right? So I'm like, okay, why CBD's garbage? It's a scam, pretty much. And if it isn't, then okay, maybe I'll invest like $200 or $300, maybe 500,000 most, and I'll kiss it to zero. It's either zero or hero, but like with Charlotte's Web, I put way more than 1,000 in, and I'd be confident that this thing's going to be like standing the test of time. So Charlotte's Web's the best play, pure CBD play, bar none. And they're also partnered with Tilray, by the way, for distribution rates in Canada. Same with Jones Soda and Can. And there's a reason why everybody picks Tilray. And it's not because of Irwin Simon, let's tell you that right now. But low to high, high or low, and then you just take your low to the high, and you move it out to your 0.32 fib, and it's saying 171 is the target. And look, we closed at the high of the week. Not only did we close at the high of the day, we closed at the high of the week. So next week, this thing's, and look, folks, this thing was just at 5 cents. And we're now at 77. So again, if you let yesterday's mistakes and like whatever you want to call it, mistakes, shitty situation, whatever you want to call it, bad investment, if you want to let that blind you of tomorrow's opportunities, you would have missed out on this. That's a 1,500% move, a 15x. I bought it at like 25 cents. And I'm over 200% on this position because I'm not just burying my head in the sand, and I'm still available for some opportunities if they present themselves, and knowing that this is when the absolute best opportunities do present themselves. And same thing with Oxley. Imagine if I was caught in this death spiral from $3 down to a penny. How many people would have said, you know what, screw this, fuck this, I'm never going to do it ever again. Screw Oxley, I hope it burns, goes to hell. Well, you would have been pretty damn close to zero. But then it ran 1,700, 800, 1,800%. Imagine buying this thing at a penny or 2 pennies, and it goes back to $3. And let this be a lesson. It's going to happen again. It's going to happen to the next industry. If you go to another industry, though, after this, and it's not illegal products at the federal level, the same level as heroin, unless the next industry you're going is heroin and you believe heroin's going to no longer be a controlled substance, okay, then it could be very similar. But I bet your ass, whatever sector you're going to isn't going to be an illegal heroin-style drug, unless it's psilocybin. But they're all very correlated. And by the time MJ gets regulated, psilocybin will get regulated as well. See what plays. I got that. What do you think of MSOS? Again, I would just buy the top few holdings in it. Remove all the garbage. Just buy the holdings. James says, Irwin is not in the Epstein files. He's probably trolling. Yeah, I would say so. Happy Valentine's Day, my friend. This too shall pass. Thank you very much. Let's talk about the winners like C-Web. Oxley. Yeah, love. Canara, same shit, folks. Okay, you think it's depressing looking at Tilray and the 1 for 10 reverse split, the no new all-time highs. Well, guess what? I have a friend who's down over 100 grand on a Canara, and guess what? Guess when he sold? We did a 1 for 10 reverse split in 2023. Everybody thought that was the low at 60 cents, and then look, it hit 52 cents. 17 months later. And then what happened? After the 1 for 10 reverse split, after another 54% correction, after another 12% correction from the all-time low, after another 17 months of pain, he sold, lost $100 and some thousand, and then to only see it go to a brand new all-time high 19 months later. So again, if you let yesterday's mistakes rob you of tomorrow's opportunities, you're just going to be caught in the cycle again. Thank you, Rod. You bet. Stock market closed in Canada or Family Day? Yeah, it's closed in the U.S. as well. It's been a waste of time listening to this guy. Oh, fucking Jesus Christ. There's always one, eh? Always one. Okay, so for anybody who's listening, I'll ban you. For anybody who's commenting on the video that's not a live stream, I approve every comment. So if you think your comment's going to fly... Like, the only reason why you lost money is because you didn't listen to me. So you're an idiot. And you just, like, don't listen to this guy. Okay, well, no one is going to listen to you because you're going to be banned. And Jam, come on, I promoted you as a moderator for a reason. You're supposed to already ban this guy. Just kidding. Don't worry, he's gone now. All right, one troll out of many people. Well, that's fine. That's fine. 100% Rob is right. Oh, there you go. See that troll? You're an idiot. That's what's wrong with this industry. People hit the buy or sell button, they have to blame everybody else. This is my post in the Power Group private community today. This is what I just posted. Another thing I've observed about dealing with wealthy people is people who have lots of money don't beat themselves up about being wrong or blame industries or sectors. They blame themselves. Either they were too early and the thesis remains, or they were wrong and were at peace with it because they only invested a small amount or to account for the risk. For example, you're a shark or a dragon and you invest $100,000 into a new startup, it could fail and then restructure and count you out, and you were too early and you miss out on the future restructuring and gains, etc. Or they are wrong completely and lose the 100K out of their 10 to 100 million net worth. Who gives a shit? If you're worth 10 million or 100 million and you lose $100,000, you gonna lose any sleep? No. If you're right and that startup turns out to be, 100x, that $100,000 turns into millions, right? Prohibition is a crime against humanity. So's insider trading. So's debanking. So's Operation Choke Point. There's a lot of things that are crimes against humanity, but yet the U.S. government does it all the time, and they're not put behind bars. So, but yet they do not like the conflict of interest of the new administration and their crypto ties. But yet Nancy Pelosi can make hundreds of millions of dollars on trading stocks, but we just can't have it in crypto though. Just can't see the logic there. I have only 2 years to recover my money. I hope we see some uptrend soon. Yeah, unfortunately, Tashi, it's probably going to be a lot longer than 2 years. It depends, though. Like, are you looking for 100% gain? Are you looking for 200? I would say it's at least a 3 to 5 year minimum before we see the true potential of what this sector has in store. Might even be longer than that. Oh, Jam, you already did it. You already banned it. Hey, Rod, thank you for the education. You bet, Vince. Zadkiel Ministries, how you doing? Ruin is not in the advertisement. It's probably a trolling. I wanted to read it. That's why I didn't remove it. Okay, cool. Yeah, no worries. I was just trolling you. Yeah, don't come back. Yeah. Yeah, you should see some of the shit that people comment on my videos that they don't realize that I can't, like every single comment, because like I don't want to allow every comment to go on, not just because I'm censoring, but because there's so many bots, right? So that's an extra added value service for me, rather than you guys all get scammed by all these bots that come in here promoting all these scam projects. I don't want you to get scammed. So as busy as I am, I approve every goddamn comment because I care about my people. And then all these other people are just like, I'm tired. No, I'm going to go a step further. And the funny thing is people don't realize that I read them all, and I just, like, if they're being an ass, I just delete it. And it's like some people like write like this big long ass comment about hating me, and I'm just like, I read the first 3 words and deleted it. Like, you wasted I don't know how many minutes or time of your life, and I read 3 words and just deleted it, and no one ever saw it, and you just wasted your time. So it's kind of funny, actually, that people have nothing better to do with their lives. But yeah, good riddance. Don't come back. Rod rocks. Shorts are addicted to the pain of margin calls. Well, I mean, shorts have owned this industry. 80 to 90% of the time, you've been better off being short. Anyone using leverage lives the life of margin calls. Yeah, I mean, it goes to show you, though, like the world we live in, instant gratification. People want everything yesterday. You're in crypto and cannabis, which is literally the 2 most like highest gain sectors, highest losses as well. But the 2 highest volatile sectors, and people want to like include 200x leverage, 500x leverage. It's absolutely crazy. Cash accounts rule. Yeah, honestly, I don't even play options. I don't play leverage anymore. I don't play options. I think it's all scam. XRP reminds me of the cannabis sector, though. Yeah, because it's truly disruptive. It's the only one that really is the disruptor. Right? Everything else, like Bitcoin, failed to do what it said to do. Meant to be a peer-to-peer cash system. Who's using it as a peer-to-peer cash system? Then it migrated to the store of value narrative, right? Well, in the white paper, in its design intended use case, they talked about, they didn't say store of value once. They talked about a peer-to-peer cash system. Nobody ever uses it as peer-to-peer cash. So, yes, XRP is the disruptor. Blockbuster didn't like Netflix either. But guess what? It ate its lunch and dinner and breakfast. And XRP is coming to eat everybody's lunch, dinner, and breakfast. And cannabis is coming for alcohol, big pharma, and tobacco's dinner, lunch, and breakfast. So, yes, it does remind me of that as well, because they're the true disruptors. I'm bullish on Kron. What do you think about them? Yeah, I'm very bullish on them as well. Sitting on a war chest of capital and starting to make some acquisitions like we knew would happen. And they're maintaining a pretty healthy market share in Canada. CWBHF RSI while at it. CWBHF. You can always bring this up in your charts as well. It's free. Now, that one's not monthly overbought. But that's, again, how quickly things can change, right? And here's an example where the monthly RSI didn't get quite oversold. So you want to, even not just the weekly, you can go to the 2-week or the 3-week, right? And look at the 2-week. It was oversold here on the 2-week. So that would have been a decent time to buy there, around 36 cents. And then we had this bullish RSI divergence with higher lows and higher highs on the RSI, lower lows and lower highs on the price action, meaning something's going to wane and eventually give. And then sure enough, it did. And then we had the EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, which is the first time ever. Holy shit. Just realized that. Yeah, that was the go signal right here. If you just entered there on the first ever weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, even if you didn't even enter at 5 cents, even if you just entered on the bull cross there at 12 cents, you would have made 500% upside. But again, look, fail, 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 fail. And then it finally happened. And that was a 2,275 day pattern that broke. Right? It's like Tilray. How many times was I saying, when we start the monthly bounce, it's going to be a big one. And it was before this happened right here. Because every single candle right here from July 2024, it was almost a year. Every candle lower high than the previous one, meaning every candle was lower than the previous high. So once we break that pattern, I said watch for a massive bounce. So in this month here of July of 2025, if you just entered on a break of June 2025's monthly resistance and high breaking, so that would have been 460, 46 cents at the time. If you entered there, that would have been upside of 400%. And how many videos was I making saying, hey, this is almost a year pattern now. When it breaks, it's going to be big. You didn't need to buy it at 35 cents. You could have bought it at, like I said, at 46 cents. And then you could have still saw 50% or 400% of upside. SMX? I don't know what that is. SMX? Is that a crypto? Is that a stock? Holy reverse splits. Run, 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 run. Yeah. If that's it, run. Please run. I wanted to read it. That's why I removed it. H-bar is rocking today. Yeah, let's take another look at that. Oh, shit. Yeah, it's pulling back quite a bit now. Yeah, they had that partnership with, what was it? FedEx. FedEx to join Hedera Network. FedEx is joining Hedera Council alongside Google, IBM, and Dell. Probably nothing, though. Yeah, I don't know. Y'all let me know. Like, what do you think? I'm just so fed up with these cannabis CEOs and cannabis companies and regulators and governments. I just, like, I don't know their names, but Oxley, Canara, Decibel, like, can't say enough good things about their companies and their management. They're all obviously very small players in the grand scheme of things, but yeah, like for crying out loud, I had a call with Irwin. They didn't even know if they gave guidance or not. I'm like, what? You're the CEO and you don't know if you give guidance? You 100% gave guidance. I have proof. And then like, oh yeah, the IR relations manager reviews it. Oh yeah, we give guidance. He just fucked up. It's like, of course, he doesn't fucking know what he's talking about. Like, just a face. It's like the president, right? It's like the prime minister. Half them don't even know what they're doing. They're just a puppet. They're just a string character, a political actor, and just carrying out the work of the administration, right? Anyway, kind of it there. It's it's unfortunate. I wish we were in better hands, but who knows? Maybe we get a new CEO and maybe they start caring about people eventually. But as far as I'm aware, as far as I've seen, this industry it deserves better. We deserve better. We deserve better content creators. We deserve better companies promoting. We deserve better media companies. We deserve better everything. We deserve better CEOs. We deserve better ETF managers. We deserve better everything. And it starts with us. It starts with, the little guy and gal, because they'll get away with it 99% of the time. And that's why I created this channel. And that's why they, I think, reach out to me when I was upset, is because they know that I'm not here just for clickbait. They know that I'm not just going to go away when the getting gets tough. They know that I'm going to be here in 20 years, 30 years. As long as I'm fucking breathing a goddamn fucking breath on this earth, I will be covering this industry. And I will be here calling them dummies when they're being dummies. I'll be here calling them geniuses when they're being awesome and being geniuses. But when you do 2 or 3 just like stupid ass things back together, I'm going to call for your resignation. There's no excuse. You announce dilution after a major earnings report. You buy Bitcoin at an all-time high and then it cracks 51%. And then you announce a reverse split before Thanksgiving and then disable comments. And then, anyway. It's just so unfortunate because I was the biggest cheerleader of Tilray. I'm not saying I didn't sell a share, but I can't support the current leadership. I can't reward bad behavior, and that's not just with Tilray. That's not just with cannabis. If you're a CEO of Ripple, right? Not XRP, because XRP doesn't have a CEO. If you think that, you're dumb. If Ripple, the company, not XRP, the digital asset, who has no CEO. If Ripple, the company, has a CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, and he's an idiot, I'm going to tell you you're an idiot and resign. I think you should resign. But he is probably the best CEO I've ever seen. Every CEO should strive to be like a Brad Garlinghouse. Every CEO should strive to be an Elliot Johnson from Bitcoin Treasury Corp. Because those are the companies that succeed with great management, great transparency, great appreciation of their shareholder base. They love the industry. They love the products. They understand the industry. They want to do better. They want to help the industry progress. They're not just there to enrich themselves. And I just don't understand why we have CEOs of cannabis companies who don't even know the product. Like, that's why Canara's doing so well. The two are stoners as fuck. they're like, fucking every time I turn around, they're smoking fucking cannabis on their Insta reels. Because they know what they are the consumer. How can you not know the consumer any better than if you embody the consumer? Right? Why did I know XRP was so awesome and it was going to be the game changer? Because I was a user of it first. I wasn't the CEO not using it. I wasn't just a person content creating not using it. The reason why I saw the benefits is because I was like, fuck, Bitcoin sucks. Ethereum sucks. costs too much money and it takes forever to get there. And the stress that it leaves me with, I'm not knowing when I send it. If I send $10,000 and it's taking 6 hours to get there, it's stressful. I'd rather just send XRP, pay a fraction of a penny, and be there in 3 seconds. Right? It was utility first. Anyway, 2 hours in. I don't know. Like I said, it's just unfortunate because I'm the biggest cheerleader for MJ. I get along with everybody. I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But no, they just done fucked up. They could not have fucked up anymore. And I'm not here to try to ruin anybody's reputation. I'm not here to do any of that. They already did that for themselves. If anything, should fire themselves, sue themselves. All right, have a good night, everybody, and yeah. Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do from here, but I know one thing's for sure. I don't like interviewing cannabis companies, and yeah, if you're a cannabis company listening in, if you don't know what you can or cannot say, you're probably not meant for this channel. So, yeah, I'm just going to focus on the companies that want to connect with their retail investor base, want to, advance the industry, want to do better, want to help, spread the word, and it's a win-win. If you come on my channel, we both win. You don't have to pay a company to promote you. But yeah, if you want to pay a company to promote you, that's fine, right? But if companies are reaching out to you to promote you for free and you're saying no, and then I would question whether or not there's some ulterior motive there. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, and I know everybody. Jam says, thanks, Rod. Still believe Tilray, even though down 80%. Yeah, like I said, it's unfortunate. I just wish Tilray got their shit together a long time ago. I interviewed Hexo before they acquired Tilray. I had nothing but good things to say about their management. I appreciated everything that they did and all of the effort that they gave to institutional or retail investors. But I think we need new management. And it stems from the fact that after I told them that, hey, I'm not going to interview you guys anymore until you start getting your act together, and I start seeing a reason to interview you again and getting confidence again. And I said, hey, who can I send my inquiry to about helping you get your products better? And they said, send it to this person. And then I never heard anything back. So, again, it just shows that they don't give a shit about me or you or anybody else. I don't know. At this point, they have to be working with the short sellers. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. And, they probably think that, hey, we're the chosen ones, right? We're that 1% that was chosen to succeed, just like they said in the U.S. government said, we're not going to allow any more AI startups because we already picked the winners. On Joe Rogan podcast, they said this about AI. So imagine what they're doing with everything else, right? It's pretty sad the times that we live in. So anyways, there's a reason why I'm focusing a lot more on the Canadian aspect of things. Look at Canara Biotech. Hit a new all-time high. It doesn't have any operations in the U.S. or anywhere else other than Canada. And that is because Canada is in an 8-year-long legal framework. And they just built a business. And they were not scared to reach out to investors. They were not scared to, be transparent. And they have people running the business who actually understand the business. They don't have people in there that are drunks and alcoholics who are running a cannabis business, right? So anyway, frustrating, very frustrating. So who knows? Maybe we'll get some competent management in here soon. And it's not just Tilray either. It's across the whole sector. The whole sector needs a complete revamping. And yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It's really bad. It's very, very bad. But one thing is for sure, CEOs come and go, management company come and go. But one thing's for sure, I don't care who's the CEO of Tilray today. I don't care who was the CEO yesterday. I don't care who's the CEO tomorrow. One thing is for sure, in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, if I'm still alive, you will see videos from me. That is my promise to you. I will be making videos 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 years from now if I'm still alive. And I'll be helping you, and I'll be helping myself, and I'll be helping everybody that I can, because I'm here to help myself first and foremost, and help as many people along the way, and not fall into this corporate greed nonsense. And if you're a corporation wondering if you should ignore me, you shouldn't, because I'm going to be here longer than you. Guaranteed. All right, have a great night, everybody. Love each and every one of you. Have a great night, and happy Valentine's Day to you and yours. Have a great long weekend, and we'll see you on the next video.